It's also the place where the local brave, like the veterans we've lost this year but celebrate today, thanks to John Basiliga and his great Basiliga hospitality. They made us and kept us free. Like Jim Martino, West Scranton. John Pavelchak, Forest City. Joseph Grigas, Wilkes-Barre. Joseph Luby, North Scranton. Gerald Kishbaugh, Bloomsburg. And Richard Sin, Berwick. The United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing, irreplaceable, and profoundly wise founding fathers who knew that government should not be, could not be, and never would be our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. Because government power always means less freedom, less liberty, and less choice for Americans. These founding fathers knew that government power, because of human nature and the fact that they would abuse it, should only be a necessary evil designed to protect and organize society. The United States of America, the country where for the first time in history, freedom was declared by law to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter how it's abused. Now, because they were armed with these freedoms, and only because of that fact, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose. Unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro show, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so, we gavel to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. A gentle warning, this is not a safe harbor for stupidity. Such nonsense will be roundly and, dare I say, harshly attacked throughout the program. We will not suffer fools gladly. Their foolishness and ignorance, willful or otherwise, will be called out with intent, purpose, and vigor, designed and sadly necessary to help save our great republic from evil, senselessness, and weakness, which even now, in our 250th year, can bring this noble and successful experiment called America down. Well, it's Memorial Weekend. Headed into it, and I don't know. I'm emotional about it. Think about these men and women who sacrificed everything. And look at, there's a lot of great fun to be had. The amazing St. Ubaldo. We got the Jessup Hose Company #2 with their carnival all weekend as well. But it's about everything. And we'll have some stuff for you, Jake and I, today. Let's hit it, Jake. Trace Adkins, Arlington, of course, commemorating that amazing cemetery just outside of Washington, D.C. I had the honor to be at a service for a cousin of mine that was interred there. It's an amazing place. You need to visit it. You really do. Hey, Brian Hughes is in the studio, and he found this story, and it's WNEP covered it, and it's called A 100-Foot Letter of Love. Bri, tell us about it.
Yes, indeed. Well, Bob, I knew when I saw this, I had to bring it to your attention. Nikki Kreis did the story. It was on earlier this morning, and you'll probably find it on WNEP.com. But talks about a couple from Scranton, Dorothy and Lester Winfield Hunt. They got married on Valentine's Day, 1944, but it was a fairly short-lived honeymoon because Sergeant Hunt was left to serve in the war as a Signal Corps intercept troop in the Pacific Theater. I believe he was in the Philippines. So the only way Dorothy could really reach out 8,000 miles away was to write a letter with enough words to make the letter 110 feet long. She used butcher block paper to write it. It wasn't just words. She also drew pinup girls and cartoons through the letter. And friends and family members, and even local dignitaries, signed the letter as well. It took 3.5 months for that letter to reach Lester in the Philippines. So Dorothy needed special permission from the Army to mail it as a scroll. Otherwise, the letter would have been cut into pieces. Now, while other soldiers brought back samurai swords and model airplanes, Sergeant Hunt brought back a letter from his wife. And it's just amazing. A couple sons, Tom and Jim Hunt, trying to decide how to preserve this family heirloom. As you know, over the years, parchment paper kind of wears thin. So it's just an amazing story. Dorothy and Lester have since passed away, but the sons say, well, the letter's paper is aged. The love story still holds strong. It's keep us now, keep us forever, happy, loving, and always together. Beautiful.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that very much. Hey, I want to remind you, we are on live stream, and you could catch it. You go WILK, Bob Cordaro Show, and you'll see that our program today, as with every day, brought to you by on live stream by Roach Supply, the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. And they are veteran-led by Ron Roach, nonagenarian. And they're celebrating 75 years in business. And it's ROCHE, roachsupply.com. And this veteran-run organization is an owned organization. They're the best. You don't do 75 years unless you're great, unless you're honest, unless you deliver. And they do. And then this hour also brought to you by our friend Tina Morocco. We'll hear from her later this morning. She's a global sales advisor at Sotheby's International Realty in Naples, Florida. She is your trusted guide for Florida real estate. She is and she specializes in Southwest Florida. Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, or Tina Morocco, whatever social media you use or like. Yeah, it's a shame the weather's going to be lousy for the St. Ubaldo race, but I'll tell you what, I don't think it's going to tamp down the fun. They actually, I was told, got rained out in Gubbio this year as well. They had to go through the driving rain. So in any event, we'll have it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun up there. And that carnival going on all week that run by the Jessup Hose Company #2, another great tradition. Hey, we're going to take a break. We're going to hear from our great sponsors. We'll come back with our Veterans Tribute. Then we'll give you the weather, montage weather report, and much more. And any Memorial Day recollections you might have, any Memorial Day memories, that you might have, feel free to text or call 570-883-0098. We'll be right back. I hope you like that rendition of God Bless America from 101-year-old veteran Don Graves. Our Veterans Tribute today, it's special every day. Brought to you by our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group as we look at the weekend. Cutie and I started the weekend early last night. We were at Terra 519. We loved it, as usual. But fine dining, great bars, amazing hospitality. The Basiliga Hospitality Group. John Pavlchak. He was from Forest City. We lost him December 27th of last year. He was a resident of the Gino Murley Veterans Care Center, the great Gino Murley Center in Scranton. He was there for 5 years. Born in Carbondale, he was a member of Sacred Heart Church in Forest City until its closing, and later Ascension Parish. He graduated from Forest City High School in 1965. John enlisted in the United States Army in 1966 and eventually was sent to Vietnam. He returned home and was employed at IBM Corporation in Endicott, New York. He retired from there after 28 years, then returned to Forest City to reside, taking employment at Jerry's Sports Center in Vandling until his retirement. He loved music, traveling, cross-country by train, meeting with his fellow veterans and spending time with his friends. Survived by a number of cousins, many good friends, especially Diane. John Pavlicek. James Jim Martino. We lost him May 9th. He was from West Scranton. His family says he's leaving behind a family who adored him and a legacy built on kindness, humor, and unwavering devotion. On May 18th, he and his beloved wife, Antoinette Tony Lanzo, would have celebrated 63 years of marriage just this week, a partnership marked by deep love, gentle patience, and a lifetime of shared memories. Jim Martino was born in Carbondale, graduate of the great Benjamin Franklin High School, proudly served in the United States Air Force. Following his service, Jim pursued a path that allowed his creativity to shine, attending Lackawanna Beauty School, and then becoming the owner and operator of the James Martino Beauty Salon, where he made his clients feel not just beautiful but cared for. He later brought that same warmth to his work at Sally Beauty in Pittston and J.C. Penney. Jim's faith was a steady anchor throughout his life. Longtime parishioner of St. Lucy's Church, he bowled in the parish league for years. After its closure, he found a new spiritual home at St. Anne's Basilica. His garden was his sanctuary. Above all, Jim was a family man. He had a sharp mind, curious spirit. He loved crosswords and laughing along with Seinfeld, among other things, which he enjoyed as much for its humor as for its simple comfort of routine. In addition to his wife, he's survived by 3 children, 4 grandchildren, a brother, and other family members. Jim Martino, our great veterans this hour. Justin Moore, the ones who didn't make it home. Murph knocks it out of the park. I tell him it's Memorial Day celebration and just knocks it out of the park with the music. He really, really does. Bob Cordaro with you on the eponymous program. It's that. I hope it's that kind of weekend for you. At least give it some time to think about the people who didn't make it back. One of the things I did in Naog Park, they have at the head of a walking trail near the greenhouse, they have this beautiful tribute to a number of soldiers who didn't make it back from Afghanistan and Iraq. And just an amazing tribute. It's austere, but beautiful, truly beautiful. Something we just love to have. Hey, let's go to the phones here. Or do we have it, Jake? I'm trying to think. I can't. My caller thing is not working, but that's okay. But yeah, how about the Don Graves, 101-year-old vet singing "God Bless America"? Jake was telling me that he sang at the recent race, the Star Spangled Banner, and I'm like, wow, that would blow the doors out, wouldn't it? Absolutely amazing. All right, we're going to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be right back. A node to the Vietnam War, and I guess all wars, right? The Animals. Murph chose this song. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. And this day, well, this series of days has another sad memory, and our man David DeCosmo, and there's his theme song, March of the Cue Balls by Henry Mancini, and that means David is with us, and he's got a little local history to tell us. David, welcome to the Bob Cordaro Show. We always love having you.
Thank you, Bob, and good morning to you. Of course, with Memorial Day just about here, we'll be thinking about folks decorating the graves of those who gave their lives for our country. And many people, of course, decorate the graves of their relatives on Memorial Day as well, whether they served or not. But there's a memorial in our area that I'm wondering how many people will either visit or remember this Memorial Day. It's up on Montage Mountain. It was on May 21st of 2000, Bob, when an aircraft, which was headed back from Atlantic City to Wilkes-Barre-Scranton International, crashed in a wooded area just off of the Pennsylvania Turnpike in Bear Creek Township. And it resulted in the worst air disaster in our area that ever took place. 19 people died in the crash of that plane. They had been on a junket to Atlantic City for a gambling trip. And, of course, we got to remember, too, back in 2000, you didn't have casinos all over the place. So Atlantic City was a popular gambling destination for people from our area. But there are a lot of individuals that were on that trip, including, of course, the pilot and co-pilot of the aircraft. I remember covering that story, Bob, and of course, when these things happen, the media really isn't allowed to get real close to a crash site. Mm-hmm. And believe me, I've been close to a couple of them anyway, and it's not a pleasant thing. But I remember talking with Bob Bolus. Bob had the job of bringing out the wreckage of the aircraft, because once they recover that wreckage, they try to piece it together again and see if they can determine exactly what caused the crash. My memory is failing me here, and it seems to me that the cause of that one may have been inefficient fuel.
Yeah, they ran out of gas.
I kind of remembered that. They depended on the fuel, I guess, they got here for the entire trip down and back, and it just wasn't enough. And of course, it was a foggy Sunday morning when that plane went down. Quite a tragedy. But there was, I think, this was so good of everyone to get involved in this. There was a memorial built to these folks, and it's up there on Montage Mountain, not far from where you'd go into the entertainment venue. Mm-hmm. And as I say,
I've never seen that, and I knew some of the people on that plane. In fact, I was on the airport board at the time. We were at an airport conference in Baltimore, and I literally almost flew home 90 miles an hour plus all the way home when that accident occurred, because it came on national news the night before the conference was to start. And
well, of course, being that it was a weekend, it got even extra attention, because news is generally thin on a weekend, so it made national headlines indeed. But as I say, I think it's so great that there is a memorial to these folks. Again, other than the pilot and co-pilot, these were all our neighbors and friends. That most people knew somebody who was either aboard that aircraft or was a survivor who had lost a relative during that crash. And it was, we've had other air crashes in this area. We've talked about a couple of them from time to time. But from a fatality point of view, this was the worst that we had seen,
Well, David, thank you so much for bringing it to our attention and helping us remember it. There's a lot of people affected by it. There's no doubt about it. Thank you, David DeCosmo. You're the man.
Should be remembering a lot of things on Memorial Day, Bob. Thanks. Hope all your news is good.
Amen. Thank you. And let's go to Tom Greco. Tom, what do you got going on? You're in the middle of the 250-year celebration of this amazing country. Talk to me. What do you got?
We got lots of events going on. We just announced the lineup. We're starting off on June 3rd. We're memorializing, the history of Muhammad Ali and Deer Lake and what he meant to our area and how we helped him out. So that's going to be debuted on WNEP.com on June 3rd. We're also bringing back and reclaiming the history of the Rolls-Royce Owners Club of America, the most prestigious club in America, just so happened to be founded in Wilkes-Barre.
Really?
In 1951.
Wow.
So they're celebrating their 75th anniversary. They're coming up, and we are celebrating it with them. The founders happen to be at the Giants Despair race. So Giants Despair started in 1906, went on for 120 years. They're celebrating their anniversary. So they're going to be there with their race cars. The Rolls-Royce Owners Club is going to be there with their Rolls-Royces, and we're going to have a Rolls-Royce rally and then an after party at a new place we're opening called Nellie's, a speakeasy, which is in downtown Wilkes-Barre. June 27th, we're doing Nanny Coke's annual Big Bang and Parade event. They're celebrating their 100th anniversary. So they're part of this area being great and being a part of what America is all about. Big on July 1st, our area's favorite, Chris DiMatteo. He'll be performing in a black tie event in the Grand Ballroom at Genetti's. It's $50 a ticket, and it's going to be Chris DiMatteo singing Bobby Darin. And the other big surprise is the #1 Frank Sinatra singer out of New York City sells out the Carnegie Club.
Yep.
Steve Maglio. Steve Maglio's coming in with a 15-piece orchestra. He sold 1,000 tickets at the Kirby Center about a year, 2 years ago.
I was there. He's my buddy
that?
He's my buddy from the Carnegie Club. Yeah.
Amazing. So he's going to come in. That's going to be a big event on Wednesday, July 1st. July 10th, we have the Planters Peanuts Nutmobile and Mr. Peanut. And the Peanut Nutters coming in to celebrate their 120th anniversary and their involvement in making America great for 250 years.
Founded in Wilkes-Barre.
Founded in Wilkes-Barre in 1906.
Amazing.
So they're coming in, and we're going to be People's Security Bank and Trust is opening a new branch in downtown Wilkes-Barre at the former Market Street Square location. And so the Nutmobile is going to be there. We're planning to cut the ribbon there for the bank.
Nice.
And we're going to dedicate a new Mr. Peanut sign there.
Well, Tom, we've got to take a break for Bloomberg Money Minute, which we have to run in 3 seconds. But you got to keep calling us and let us know. These are amazing series of events. But get back with us, all right, my man? Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Greco.
Okay, bye.
It's going to be special. That's The Doors, The Unknown Soldier. A touching song, which you wouldn't expect from The Doors. Good job on that one, too, Murph. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. So, we have a hard break that you have to take at either 50 or 55 as I watch my Bacardo's watch. And so we had to shorten Tom Greco's, but we got to have him on again. These events are really cool. They're doing a great job for our 250th, and with the right guy is in charge, that's for sure. It is time for the news. And that means, I look at my Bacardo Jewelers watch, and the sweep hand is coming up on 10 o'clock. And that means Brian Hughes is ready for action. Let's do the news, and then we'll come back. We've got a great presentation on the other side from our man Rick Bigelow, who is going to tell us about Audie Murphy at request of one of our great listeners, but also about there's a number of overseas military burial grounds and cemeteries. We're going to talk about all that after the news at 10 o'clock. Great. Good morning, everyone. I hope you love hearing from World War II veteran, 101st Airborne Vincent Speranza. It is 10:10 a.m. on my Picardo Jewelers watch. This beautiful but, a little messy Friday. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we lost this year and last, but celebrate today thanks to John. Like Jim Martino, West Scranton, John Pavelchak, Forest City, Joseph Grigas, Wilkes-Barre, Joseph Luby, North Scranton, Gerald Kishbaugh, Bloomsburg, and Richard Sin, Berwick. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guide, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense on a celebration of Memorial Day, a remembrance of the greatness of those who gave their lives so that we could be here and provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you who hearken here. Tom from Dallas checked in. He said he's the guy, and thank you for reminding me, Tom from Dallas, the guy who suggested a little bit on Audie Murphy that we're going to hear, and he also mentions Audie Murphy's book, To Hell and Back, as reading material. And our man John Perillo had a suggestion as well, and that movie is Taking Chance. Kevin Bacon's in it, and it's a story about the repatriation of remains. And our man John Perillo recommends it. So you got Taking Chance, the movie, and we also have To Hell and Back, recommended by two of our best contributors. But it is Rick Bigelow time, and time to recall. And you hear his theme song from The Longest Day? Well, here he is. My man, Rick Bigelow. How are you, Rick?
Doing fine, Bob. How about you?
Good. Great to have you on to talk about a subject that really doesn't get much attention, and lately, our guy Audie Murphy either. So I'm happy to have you on.
Glad to be with you, Bob. And let me start off with just a quick note on Memorial Day. It's basically it started out during and immediately after the Civil War, where people throughout the nation wanted to commemorate the dead from the Civil War, and there were at least 620,000 people who were killed during the Civil War, so they wanted to remember it. It was originally known as Decoration Day, when graves of the veterans would be decorated with flowers. In 1968, Congress standardized the day of observance as the last Monday in May, and in 1971, Congress changed the name to Memorial Day. So I want to talk about United States military cemeteries. The National Cemetery Administration of the Veterans Administration maintains 157 national cemeteries in 44 states and Puerto Rico, as well as 35 soldiers' lots and monument sites. Now, a soldier's lot is a special section of a private or a municipal cemetery that's set aside for veterans, and the National Cemetery Association Administration takes care of those soldiers' lots. They were primarily established once again after the Civil War, and they provide free burial for soldiers who died of wounds or disease in nearby military hospitals. So we've got a picture of Indiantown Gap National Cemetery there.
And you can see it on our live stream, guys, brought to you by Roach Supply. You'll be able to see that as Rick talks about it.
Right, and it's probably the closest one to us down at the Indiantown Gap facility. There also is a picture of the American Cemetery in Tunis, Tunisia, and this is emblematic of the overseas cemeteries and there are 2,841 U.S. servicemen who were killed in North Africa or in the Mediterranean in World War II. And it also includes the name of 3,724 MIAs from North Africa and the Med. And the MIAs were soldiers who were just never recovered, and a lot of aviators and a lot of sailors, too.
Rick Bigelow, tell me, what makes or creates the choice to, rather than bringing the remains back home, or at least in the context of this Tunisia cemetery, the American cemeteries overseas, what guided the choice as to whether they be interred there or be brought back home? Because a number of the bodies were brought back home.
Yeah, absolutely. And basically, after the war, the Department of Defense sent letters to everybody, that the families of everybody that they had identified as being killed in action, and they sent letters and said, you have the option of having them buried in a overseas cemetery, or you can have them brought home. And a tremendous, so this was like over 300,000 letters that were sent out, and something on the order of 90,000 actually had their remains of their loved ones brought back to be interred in the United States. So they gave people the choice, and the government paid for it all. So the thing about the American Cemetery in Tunis is that it's rarely visited, and it's just one of 26 overseas cemeteries of servicemen who were killed overseas. Very few American military personnel died abroad. Before the 20th century, most were buried near the place of their death. Soldiers killed in Mexico during the Mexican War of 1846 to 48 are one example. In response to the volume of World War I deaths, on March 4, 1923, Congress created the American Battle Monuments Commission to oversee military cemeteries and monuments honoring American expeditionary forces who died overseas. So the Army operated most of these cemeteries until 1934, when an executive order created the American Battle Monuments Committee and transferred all the maintenance of those cemeteries to them. In 1947, more World War II military cemeteries in Europe, Africa, and the Philippines were transferred. So the total is more than 200,000 U.S. service personnel are buried or honored in these overseas cemeteries. And, of course, with a lot of aviators, especially in the Pacific, and from sailors who were in ships that were sunk and no bodies were recovered. They are honored on monuments in several of the overseas cemeteries. So today, the ABMC administers 26 permanent American burial grounds and another 31 monuments and markers in 17 foreign countries. And they also have 3 domestic memorials, including the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific, which is in the Punch Bowl, which is a crater of an extinct volcano in downtown Honolulu. 13,000 KIAs are buried there, and it lists 29,000 MIAs from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And there's also another one that just lists members who were killed in Battery Park in New York City, and another one at the Presidio in San Francisco. So according to a VA publication in 2020, approximately 405,000 American service personnel, including 400 women, were killed overseas in World War II. The government offered these families of the fallen to have their loved ones shipped home at the government's expense or buried in cemeteries overseas. 170,000 took advantage of the offer to have their remains brought back home. About 116,000 American service personnel were killed in World War I. About 70,000 were identified. 40,000 were brought back to the U.S. at the family's request. Among the 93,000 who from World War II buried overseas includes General George Patton and Brigadier General Theodore Roosevelt Jr., who had a heart attack and stroke and died shortly after coming ashore at Utah Beach. And he's buried next to his brother Quentin, who was an aviator who was killed in World War I. 8,500 sets of remains from World War II remain unidentified, and there's an unknown number from World War I that are unidentified. 124,000 from all wars are buried overseas. There are a total of 26 overseas cemeteries, 12 in France, 3 in Belgium, 2 in England, 2 in the Philippines, 2 in Italy, and 1 each in Mexico, Tunisia, Netherlands, Luxembourg, and Panama.
Amazing.
There's also a UN cemetery in Busan, South Korea. 2,300 UN troops are buried there, including 36 Americans. Most of the burials are British, Turkish, Canadians, and Australians. The United States has 173 national cemeteries where veterans from all wars can be buried. The National Park Service maintains 14 of these. The Veterans Administration maintains 157. Among the 2 that are maintained by the Army includes Arlington, and the other one is a U.S. Soldiers and Sailors Airmen's Home at the National Cemetery in Washington, D.C. So it's a huge operation to take care of all these cemeteries, but for the most part, they are just immaculate and places of great honor.
And good to know. Rick, we're going to take a break. I want to come back and talk about Audie Murphy, but thank you so much for that information. And people who are traveling abroad, look for these. These cemeteries, they deserve to be visited. We'll take a break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We hear that in the Veterans Tribute brought to you by John Basiliga, but man, it deserves to be played on a day like today, doesn't it? Rick Bigelow is our guest. And our man Tom from Dallas, he asked about Audie Murphy. And I said, you know what? That is a subject that we could make part of this presentation. And it's a famous name, but most people don't know what is behind it, Rick Bigelow.
Right, and it's an amazing story, and it's an American story, really. So Audie Murphy was born June 20, 1925, in Kingston, Texas, to a sharecropper family. He was the seventh of 12 children. Oh. His father deserted the family when he was a young boy, and his mother died when he was 16. So Audie had to kind of take over as head of the family, and he got his three youngest siblings into an orphanage, and some of his other brothers and sisters were taken care of by an older sister. So he quit school after fifth grade to work in the cotton fields and help support the family. He learned to shoot while hunting small game to help feed the family. And he said, you know, it was he had one shot to get a rabbit or a squirrel or something like that. And if he didn't hit it, the family was going to go hungry that night. Yeah. So after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, he tried to join the Army, Navy, and the Marines. They all turned him down because of his age and the fact that he was underweight. He falsified his birth date, and his older sister signed off that he was old enough, and he joined the Army in June 30, 1942. After basic and AIT, he was shipped overseas as part of the 3rd Infantry Division, arriving in Casablanca, French Morocco, on February 20, 1943. He saw no combat in North Africa. He was promoted to private first class and then corporal. He participated in the invasion of Sicily in July of 1943 and fought in battles en route to Messina. And this was his baptism of fire as far as combat is concerned. He landed with the 3rd Infantry Division at Battipaglia, Salerno, Italy, took part in several battles. He was promoted to sergeant in December of 1943. A month later, he was promoted to staff sergeant, but was hospitalized with malaria. And this is one of the things about the campaign in Sicily that surprised everybody. There was a lot of malaria in Sicily, and it affected the troops dramatically. And everybody figures, you know, malaria is a jungle thing, and it was mostly going to affect the troops and Marines in the Pacific and New Guinea and so on in the Philippines. But quite a few soldiers in Sicily came down with malaria too. When he returned to duty, he saw more combat, took out a German tank and a crew, for which he received a Bronze Star with a Combat V, and he was promoted to platoon sergeant. He had a second bout of malaria. On return to duty, he fought in several more battles and eventually took part in liberating Rome. Then he was put on a ship with the rest of the 3rd Division and shipped off to southern France for Operation Dragoon, which was the invasion of southern France in 1944. He received the Distinguished Service Cross for actions against a German fortification, where he single-handedly killed and wounded several Germans and secured the building for the Allies. His unit received a Presidential Unit Citation for August 27, 28, 1944 offensive in Montélimar, France. He received a Purple Heart for injuries suffered in a mortar shell blast on September 15th. On October 2 of 1944, he took a German machine gun position in the Clury Valley, killing 4 and wounding 3. He received a Silver Star for this action. He received the Bronze Oak Leaf Cluster for his Silver Star 3 days later while directing his men from a perilous position while they took out a German stronghold. He received the Battlefield Commission to second lieutenant on October 14th, 1944, and this was fairly common because so many of the officers were killed in a company or a division that senior enlisted got Battlefield Commission, so he was a second lieutenant. Wounded a second time on October 26th and hospitalized. His wound became gangrenous and required him to stay in the hospital for several months. A significant portion of his leg was removed, muscle tissue primarily, when he was in the hospital from gangrene, and he carried this wound and scar with him for the rest of his life. So back with his unit in January 1945, in the Colmar pocket of Alsace, France, he was wounded again in both legs. So this was his third wound. Became company commander of Baker Company on January 26, 1945. And while waiting for reinforcements, a nearby U.S. M10 tank destroyer, which is basically a Sherman tank with a 4-inch gun on it, was hit, forcing its crew to abandon. So Murphy climbed on board the damaged tank destroyer and fired his machine gun at approaching German troops, killing several. So this tank was ablaze, and of course there was all kinds of ammunition and gasoline in the tank. So he stayed on this tank for about an hour, protecting his men and fighting off a significant German force, which was believed to be about a company size. Despite all his wounds, he stayed with the company and led them to repel the Germans, and he was awarded the Medal of Honor for these actions. He received the Legion of Merit for his combined actions in January and February 1945, promoted to first lieutenant. Finally, they removed him from the front lines and sent him to regimental headquarters, where he became a liaison officer. He hated that.
Yeah.
He wanted to be on the front lines. He received every Army medal for valor. He was awarded the following French medals: Legion of Honor, Grade of Chevalier, the French Croix de Guerre with Silver Star, the French Croix de Guerre with Palm, French Liberation Medal, French Fourragère in colors of the Croix de Guerre. He also received the Belgian Croix de Guerre.
Rick, how does he become famous?
Well, he became famous. Actually, his picture was on the cover of Life magazine in 1945. I think it was August of 1945. And so he comes back home, comes back to Texas, joins the National Guard unit. Jimmy Cagney sees his picture on Life magazine, calls him up and says, "Come to Hollywood. I think you have the ability to make it in show business and become a star," or something like that.
James Cagney.
So
Wow.
he goes to Hollywood, and there he is affiliated with Cagney. They give him movie roles and so on and so forth. He writes a book along with an author to hell and back in 1949, recounting his exploits. In 1955, they decide to make To Hell and Back a movie. He wanted somebody else to play himself in the movie, but the media bosses said, "Nope, you do it because you've got the ability." And so that made him a bona fide Hollywood star. During his career in the movies, he spoke out often about PTSD and help for veterans. So personal life, he was married twice and had 2 sons. He had a volatile temper and got into several physical altercations. He once was charged with attempted murder because he pulled a gun on somebody in a fight. He lost large sums of money gambling and in bad business deals. He got to the point where the PTSD got so bad that he had to take sleeping pills every night, and he became addicted to it. And the story is he locked himself in a hotel room for a week to dry out and to get away from the addiction. And he also was known to sleep with a loaded pistol under his pillow. It was the only way he could get to sleep at night. So, he was a star. He was famous, but he was dealing with demons. Yeah. So he was killed in a plane crash near Roanoke, Virginia on May 28, 1971, and he's buried at Arlington. And a final note on that, Medal of Honor winners have their inscriptions on their tombstones in gold. He demanded that his his tombstone not be inscribed with gold. He just wanted black like every other soldier that was there. So that's the amazing story of Audie Murphy.
Incredible. Rick, thank you so much for delivering that. That was certainly worth hearing. And thank you to our man, Tom from Dallas, for all of that. Amazing. All right, we'll take a break. Rick Bigelow, patent attorney extraordinaire, but he's our historian. We love you, man. Thank you.
Welcome, Bob.
All right, have a blessed, you as a veteran, have a blessed Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you.
All right, Rick Bigelow. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day as with every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga. And today we highlight just one of his great companies because it's the weekend, and these are the places to go. Basiliga Hospitality Group. 3 great bar restaurants. You're going to love them, I'll guarantee it. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. The Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. And the Far Street Tavern, the reimagined institution on the in the Trips Park section of West Scranton. And then, of course, they've got the best in fine dining. The Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre on South Franklin Street. The Mary Stegmeyer Mansion, also an amazing event space. And then a modern take on the best in dining experiences, a Terra 519. And reminder, the bar and food will be open late Friday and Saturday nights. Joseph Luby. He died May 13th this year. His family says our world is now dimmer with the passing of Joseph Luby, age 89. He died peacefully in his North Scranton home. The heavens are much brighter, for they have welcomed the radiant spirit of a man who was full of light and love. To know Joe Luby was to have a friend. He never had a bad word to say about anyone and was quick to offer a smile to everyone he met, including the many nurses, doctors, and other healthcare staff he encountered throughout his 11-month battle with mesothelioma. He grew up in South Scranton, and he was a roller skater, and his dance partners, but none could compare to his lifelong dance partner, his wife, Carol Ann Dolan Luby, who was by his side the moment he passed. Joe and Carol lit up the dance floor together through 59 years of marriage. Over the past few years, Joe became an avid chess player. So he started at 87 to do that, challenging his wife and children. When he retired after 48 years as an employee of the Scranton Times, Joe began to call the greater Scranton YMCA his office, with a daily routine of swimming weights and steam room. He proudly served his country in the Navy on the USS Charles Ware. In addition to his wife, Joe is survived by his son, Paul, Paul's wife, Kelly, and their 3 children, his daughter, Janine, the owner of Laugh to Live, survived by many nieces, nephews, and more family. He'll always be remembered as a cool dad. Joseph Luby. Joseph Grigas. He was 77 when he passed May 11th. He was from Wilkes-Barre. Born in Larksville, graduate of Larksville High School. Joe was a Purple Heart recipient, proudly serving his country with the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War. Member of the First Welsh Baptist Church in Wilkes-Barre. Prior to retirement, he was employed as a machine operator, HBG International. Preceded in death by his loving wife, Norma Jones Grigas, in 2006, and tragically by his dear daughter, Megan Grigas, in 2025, and his grandson, Dustin Ironman, in 2025. He's survived by his sons, also survived by his brothers, his grandchildren, and other family members. Joseph Grigas, Purple Heart recipient. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Toby Keith, the great Toby Keith, American soldier. We're going to go to break, hear our great sponsors, and find out what's happening in the markets. And then we'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Thank you, Toby Keith. The band. The night they drove old Dixie down, Murph picked. Maybe we touched on the Civil War, which was the start of the cemetery program, soldiers' cemetery program in this country. The carnage, because every death on those battlefields, every injury on those battlefields was American. Hey, Mother Teresa, St. Teresa for May 22nd. She said, in many places, children are neglected, but animals are cared for and pampered. Animals are given special food and other special things. I love dogs myself very much, but still I cannot bear seeing a dog given the place of a child. Important message from St. Teresa today. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program as we head to the top of the hour. It's Memorial Day. That's Monday. And just at least on that day, think about it. One of the reasons we talked about the cemeteries and we've played pieces, just think of that. Just one, that soldier talking about it in the first hour, 26,000. I mean, these are more deaths in these various world wars than towns. It's awesome. It's shocking. It's stunning. Absolutely stunning. But they gave it. And we're here because of it. We're enjoying everything that we enjoy because of them. It's that simple, that straight. Hey, this hour brought to you by our friend Tina Morocco. She is the Global Sales Advisor at Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. We'll be hearing from her later this morning. You could reach her through Sotheby's Realty in Naples or go right to the source, Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com. And a reminder that you can check out our live stream, see my smiling and alternately scowling moon face, brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply. Run by nonagerian and veteran Ron Roach. They're celebrating 75 years in business. Well, what do? Well, they're the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. You can find them by going to roachsupply.com, R-O-C-H-E, roachsupply.com today. Their sister company is Chapman Supply in Clark Summit. So you can get them anywhere you need to be. Anywhere you need them to be, too. That's our friends at Roach Supply. By the way, we're not a lot of politics today, but just something that came out while I have a minute. The Democrat Party finally released their analysis of the 2024 election. Now, almost exactly like the Democrat Party, it's sloppy, the report itself, sloppy, misspellings. They missed major issues that were part of the race. They didn't even address the Biden withdrawal and the appointment process for the supremely awful candidate, Kamala Harris. So, I mean, in other words, it's not truthful, as the Democrat Party is not. The leadership of the Democrat Party is beneath contempt. And they never address issues like what the Democrat Party stands for that caused them to lose so completely in 2024. We'll get into that today, maybe next week. We're going to have Joe Barna coming up on the other side of this newscast, that Korean combat veteran. And he's been ailing, and I've said, we've got to get him on. He's 95, and he's got some things to say always. We look forward to that. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11 o'clock and change, and that means we've got to go to the news with Brian Hughes. But we'll be back on the Bob Cordaro Show with Korean combat veteran Joe Barna. Had to do that one more time for Kyle Busch, who we lost. Great good morning, everyone. It's 11:10 a.m. on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. This beautiful Friday. What is it? What's today's date? The May 22nd. Headed into Memorial Day weekend here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show, and I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year and last, but celebrate today thanks to John. Like Joseph Grigas. He was from Wilkes-Barre. Joseph Luby, North Scranton. Jim Martino, West Scranton. John Pavelchak, Forest City. Gerald Kishma, Bloomsburg. And Richard Sin, Berwick. So with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order after that brief news adjournment, this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you who hearken here. Amen, brother. Well, I got to tell you, our guy, Joe Barna. Now, he's written books, he's written articles, he's done all kinds of things. He just went through a tough bout of health issues this year, and we got him back, and he's better than ever. 95-year-old Joe Barna, he's one of my favorite veterans ever, combat veteran of the Korean War, Joe Barna. Joe, great to have you back on air.
It's good to be back, Bob.
How are you feeling, my friend?
Bob, after what I went through, I feel great. Believe me, I had a real rough 3 months already. I was laid in the hospital bed for 3 months, and everything was happening to me. And Bob, I really thought I was going to give up a long time ago, but I thought to myself one night, I said, I'm going to beat this. I mean, I felt bad. I had a stroke. I had a blood clot. Then I had acid reflux. And then about a month and a half ago, they found my lungs collapsed, 2 of them.
I remember that. Oh, my gosh.
So I went to the mill, Bob. I had a lot of... They took real good care of me. I was in 2 different hospitals, and like I said, 3 months almost, I laid in the hospital bed. And I was ready to say, I'm done. But then I thought, no, I'm going to beat this. I'm not going to quit. And now I feel as good as I ever did. My legs are good. My mind is good. I feel like I'm almost where I should be now.
Joe Barna, that is so incredible. I mean, you had the right to give up. I mean, for all the things you've done, including almost losing your life in the Korean War. You're 95, and we could have said, well, okay, 96. Joe. 96. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I gave the year.
Oh, it is incredible. But I'm telling you, myself and a lot of others are greedy for you to be around longer, okay?
They are, believe me. Bob, I never had such support as I had when I was sick. I got more people call me and wish me luck and come back and everything else. And I couldn't leave them down, Bob. I had to come back.
Good. We love it. Joe, we've talked about this subject often, but it bears repeating because as Memorial Day approaches, you saw a lot of people that you fought with in Korea go down, including your friend, the man who saved your life, the medic who saved your life. Talk about that situation.
Jackie, yeah. He was 21 years old when he saved my life. And 4 weeks later, he was killed. He never reached 22. We were born the same 2 months difference than we were born. So he would have been 96 right now if he had lived.
Joe Barna, tell us the circumstances where that had him save your life. Tell us about that battle, that situation.
Okay, Bob. We had a battle in Korea. Every day was a battle, Bob. We had thousands of people fighting against 1 million Chinese. So we had a battle one night, and a shell knocked me down. I was carrying a flamethrower. I fell back in the trench. So then I lay there for a while. Then I saw someone.
And a reminder, you're 150. You're 100. Joe, you're 150 pounds, and the equipment, the flamethrower you're carrying, is what, 70 pounds or more?
Almost about 78.
Yeah. So
I don't know how I did it, Bob. I really don't know how I did it, but I weigh 157, but I was in perfect shape, I imagine, because I couldn't have done it if I was just normal.
So you get knocked into a trench by a shell that explodes near you.
Yeah. So I saw this person come at me, and when he got closer, I saw it was a Chinese soldier, and he had his rifle and a bayonet on it, and he come at me, trying to stab me. So when he came after me, I turned to my right a little bit, or he would have got me in the heart. He stuck a bayonet through my arm, and I'm laying there. I had a double-barrel shotgun on my flamethrower, so I swung around, and I think I made twins out of him.
You had the presence.
I'm still laying there. I'm weak. I'm getting weak, Bob.
But Joe Barna,
I'm losing blood.
Joe Barna.
Then I heard a voice. Jackie Kilmer. He found me in that. It was dark. It was getting dark. He said to me, he said 5 words, Bob, I'll never forget. He says, God don't want you yet, Corporal. So he took the flamethrower off me, and he carried me into a bunker. And in a bunker, we had a candle. I had a candle set by a priest in my hometown every week. We had the big vigil candles there. We used that candle, Bob, to heat our cans of beans and everything else. But me and Jackie, we shared over 5 months together in Korea. So he looked at my arm. He took my flamethrower off, took my clothes off. He packed the wound. Then he sewed it shut. He had a needle and thread in his black bag that he sewed it with needle and thread in a battle. Bob, I couldn't believe it. But then I got up. I was pretty well shook, and I was out for about 2 days, I guess. I went back. I didn't miss too many days in the battles and that. Then Jackie went to another battle 4 weeks later. He was there one day when he was wounded. Then he got wounded again. A shell come down. 18 pieces of shrapnel, Bob, tore into his body. I don't know. I can't imagine what he felt.
And there was
when I heard he was killed, I was very, very down because we were very, very close. I found an angel. Believe me, he's my angel. He's my guardian angel right now, Bob.
Yeah.
He's watching over me. I believe it.
And
he said, God don't want you yet.
And you named you wrote a book, and he was the inspiration for the title.
He was. I wrote the book to honor him. Bob, I went down to Texas twice in 5 years. I went down and I spoke in a hospital where they trained Navy corpsmen. I mean, a Navy corpsman, if we don't have Navy corpsmen with us in battle, Marines are finished. He's our only hope. But I went down to Texas twice in 5 years. I spoke in a hospital to the Navy corpsmen, about 125 graduates. Then I went over to the cemetery, Bob, where he was buried. I knelt down by the grave, and I talked to him, Bob. I know he answered me. Bob, I lived a hell of a life.
Amazing. Well, don't say it in the past tense. We want more.
I'm going to get more. I'm not going no place, Bob. Like I said, when I was down, I didn't want to live even, Bob, because I had the stroke, and then I didn't know what was going to happen after that, because I heard strokes really affect people after they get them. You know, they lose their eyesight, their hearing, they get paralyzed. That didn't happen to me, Bob.
Amazing.
Like I said, I laid in the hospital bed for 3 months, but I come home. I'm about 95% better right now.
Nice. Well, thank you to Corman Kilmer for saving your life, and thank you thank you for your willpower that kept you going at age 96 through the maladies and the illness that you had throughout almost this whole year.
Well, I said I'm going to go for a 100-year-old birthday party, Bob.
I hope I'll be there.
You are invited.
All right, well, man. Joe Barna, thank you so much. So great to hear your voice on the air again. And I tell everybody, if you want to see a great discussion with Joe Barna a few years ago, he was on my TV show. The Bob Cordaro. You look to Bob Cordaro show on TV, and you look up the episode with Joe Barna. It is amazing. It's just amazing, as you always are, Joe Barna. Thank you so much for calling in on this Memorial Day weekend. I know you'll be thinking about that Corman on Memorial Day. I know it.
I won't forget him, Bob. I won't forget him.
Well, we won't forget you either, my man. I appreciate it.
I'm glad I have you as a friend, too, Bob. Believe me, you're a great person.
Well, we love you. We love you. And everybody does, believe me, Joe Barna. Thank you, my friend.
Well,
be well.
I believe in
Go ahead.
I believe in myself, Bob.
I know
Maybe
you
that's
do.
what brought me through.
You're the best. Joe Barna, Korean combat veteran, 96 years old. He's still sharp as ever, and he's not giving up. He's with us. Thank you, Joe.
I got 2 speeches ready for Memorial Day, Bob. I got 2 speeches ready.
Absolutely love it. Well, the people who will be there are fortunate. Where are you speaking? Let's finish with that anyway.
I'm gonna speak in front of the American Legion on Memorial Day, and I'm gonna speak down
in Freeland.
We have a big ceremony down our public Memorial Day Park, where I'm gonna speak down there to the people outside.
Well, that will be worth spending Memorial Day. That's the way to honor it. Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it always, and let's talk soon, okay?
We'll talk again, Bob.
All right, my
I
friend.
enjoy talking to you, believe me.
You're the best. Joe Barna, our man. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show, Memorial Day weekend. Johnny Cash. That's the Ballad of Ira Hayes. Another great choice by our man Murph. Hey, we got tickets. What is it? November 6th, Jake? We've got Journey tickets for November 6th. We're going to go with our 8th caller, 570-883-0098. We're giving away Journey tickets November 6th at Mohican Arena at KC Plaza, the great Governor KC Plaza. Let's do it. You call in, 570-883-0098. And the 8th caller will be the winner. By the way, we got Rich from West Pittston texted this in. And I'm going to try to get it organized because it's not no fault of his, but they come in rather scattered. But he said, hey, Bob, LTS back at you, Rich. He says, great patriotic program today. I remember my brother wondering how could these I remember walking to the Paramount Theater, Public Square, to watch The Longest Day in 1962. I was 9 years old, and I still remember how this movie affected my brother and I. Walking home, we were both very quiet. I remember wondering, how could these soldiers be so brave? Where did they get such men? I think I'm going to watch the DVD Monday. God bless the U.S. Amen. Amen. Somebody says, Bob, don't forget to play Johnny Cash's Ragged Old Flag. Jacob, we might need another. He's in the middle of answering the phones. The phones are going crazy. Thank you for mentioning that. It's not on Murph's list, but I think we might be able to sneak it in after the weather. Ragged Old Flag by Johnny Cash. That is one of the great songs of all time. So thank you for reminding us, George. All right? We didn't already play it, so I'm happy you mentioned it to me. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back. We'll let you know who the winner is, but we've got a Veterans Tribute on this beautiful Friday. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour, as with every hour, this day as with every day, not just Memorial Day weekend. Bringing it to you is our man, John Basiliga. Today we feature just one of his great companies because it's the weekend and these are the best places to go. I was there last night, a Terra 519. Just Cutie and I hanging out at the bar a little bit, enjoying the atmosphere, and met the Banana Ball guys. Great young guys and outstanding athletes. They're going to have the stadium jammed all weekend. That was at a Terra 519. I'll be back this weekend. Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township, the Far Street Tavern on Far Street in the great Trips Park section of West Scranton, the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant, and, of course, the incomparable Stegmeyer Mansion, South Franklin Street, Wilkes-Barre. The Mary Stegmeyer Mansion, an incredible event space, and an old school, old world, fine dining venue. And don't forget about the Fred Stegmeyer Mansion, the best bed and breakfast you will find in the country. Gerald Kishbaugh. We lost him at age 88, May 3rd. Army veteran, Merc retiree. He lived in Bloomsburg. He went home to be with the Lord on that May 3rd. Born in Nanticoke, 1937. Graduate of Huntington Mills High School. Following graduation, Gerald enlisted in the United States Army, stationed in Germany. He was honorably discharged in 1967. He was a member of the Ridge Street United Methodist Church, Bloomsburg. He worked at Merck for 24 years as a chemical operator before retirement. In 2014, a little late in life, he married the love of his life, Valeria Weaver. In his younger years, Gerald enjoyed riding his Harley-Davidson motorcycle, often on long cross-country trips. He loved hunting, archery, target shooting. A family man who enjoyed spending time with that gang. He made regular rounds to visit family every weekend. Gerald and Valeria enjoyed the peacefulness of sitting by the river's edge. Preceded in death by his father and mother, brothers. He's survived by his beloved wife, Valeria, one daughter, 3 grandchildren, and other family members. Oh, I apologize. 13 great-grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandchildren, brothers, sisters, and other family members surviving him. Gerald Kishbaugh. Richard Sin, he was 87 when we lost him, May 3rd as well. A faithful veteran who loved God and family. He was from Berwick. Born at Walter Reed Hospital, the military hospital in Washington, D.C., in 1939. He was raised and educated in Berwick. In 1956, he entered the U.S. Navy and served honorably on active duty for 3 years before transferring to the reserves. For 45 years, he worked as a diesel mechanic and driver for Wise Potato Chips. Richard was a member of New Covenant Church, Berwick, and his faith in God never wavered. His greatest love and joy was his family. He enjoyed spending time with all of them at any given opportunity. He loved traveling and eating out, especially visiting Lancaster and the Thousand Islands. In 1959, he married his beloved wife, Janice P. Ruckle Sink. Together, they celebrated 67 years of marriage. In addition to his wife, he'll be greatly missed by his sons, Richard Sink and wife Cheryl of Berwick, Randy Sink and wife Andrea of Berwick, daughter Sherry Albertson and husband Todd, also of Berwick. Grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Richard Sink. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by our man John Basiliga and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Thank you, George, for reminding us about that ragged old flag. Jake, we had a winner of the Journey tickets. Who did we get? Do you remember? Tom from Wilkes-Barre won those Journey tickets. We love it. But again, George, thank you for reminding us of ragged old flag. It was not on our list today, so you saved us. And you know that music. It just, I got tears in my eyes for ragged old flag, but now I'm happy again because Tina Morocco is in the house, global sales advisor at Sotheby's International in their Naples, Florida office. You can reach her through the Sotheby's in Naples or directly at Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, or on any social media, Tina Morocco. Here she is. Hi, Tina. How you doing?
I'm driving, Bob. How are you?
Well, you got a tough act to follow, Johnny Cash.
Oh my gosh.
I love it. So you're driving. So what's on your mind?
Driving. Yeah, I'm driving. I'm actually in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. I don't know if I told you this before, but our cats are snowbirds.
Your cats are what?
They're snowbirds.
Oh, and
they're snowbirds.
Okay, so they stay, or are they coming with you?
They're coming. I'm driving them right now to Scranton.
I love it.
For the season.
I mean, most cats are not good in cars.
These cats are.
Are they? Okay.
Yeah, they are. They are. And so last night I stayed with them in just outside of Savannah, and I'll tell you what, there are so many pet-friendly hotels on the way, on I-95 and even going on 75 up towards north. It's nice to know that you don't have to board your pet. You can travel with your pet and you can stay overnight. I stayed at one of the Marriotts, but I mean, I'm seeing signs on either side of the highway, pets stay for free in a lot of them, or, pet-friendly hotels. So
Neat.
It's just, good to know, yeah. Cats and dogs.
Well, because, one of the things I've often thought, I said, if I had a place in Florida, I would love to at least take at the beginning of the trip, if I was staying long enough, and the end of the trip, I would love to drive back and forth. I would love to do that trip.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's an interesting drive. I've done it a couple of times now, and it's just, you always see some things that you didn't really realize were there. I just passed the Ava Gardner Museum.
How about that?
I didn't know anything about that. Yeah. So speaking of pets, I just wanted to remind everyone, we have a lot of really pet-friendly communities in Southwest Florida, but be careful when you're looking because some of the communities do have, restrictions on the number of pets you can have and, the weight limits on pets and things like that. So it's always good to ask before you start your search. Connect with your agent. Let them know what type of pets you have and, breeds and everything like that.
Tina Morocco, that's one of the myriad issues. We talked about HOA. We've talked about all kinds of issues, but that's an important one. So many of us have pets, and we're not going to abandon them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you want to find a community that matches, your lifestyle. And, pets are a big part of lifestyle. So you want to make sure the pets are comfortable there. We have a lot of communities now that are very pet-friendly and have, great dog amenities. Dog parks for big dogs, dog parks for little dogs, dog runs. So, yeah, there's a lot of different ones that are very pet-friendly, but just something to look out for when you start your search.
That's a big deal. All right. Well, thank you for that. These are the tips. This is why I think about the list. I tick through the list in my head of all the things we should think about. And then I say, you know what? I'll just call Tina Morocco. She'll figure that all out.
So many tips and tricks here.
and let's keep them in your head. That saves a little space for me to think about nonsense,
Yeah.
Well, Tina Morocco, thank you so much for being with us as always, especially on your travels. We will be seeing you very soon.
Sounds good. All right.
All right. Tina Morocco, Global Sales Advisor, Sotheby's International, Naples, Florida. She is your trusted guide to Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida. You can reach her through Sotheby's International in Naples or go direct. Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, or on any social media, Tina Morocco. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Lee Greenwood. God bless the USA. And we're going to finish with taps. But in the middle, Jake, let's fit in our Ray Charles, America the Beautiful, because you can't beat that one. Okay, he needs a moment to find it, but yeah, we can't forget that. I extra kudos to Murph, and thank you to George. They got the music done today. Let's listen to Johnny Cash, and we'll finish with taps. Great being with you. Guys, have a beautiful weekend. Make sure you remember why we have this incredible weekend. Remember the people we lost. Remember the bravery, the courage, the guts, the patriotism that went into their sacrifice. It's amazing. Guys, have a great weekend. I'm going to gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense because we got to finish with Ray Charles and we got to finish with taps. Guys, have a great weekend and remember the reason for this weekend. Club for Common Sense adjourned. God willing, I'll be with you Tuesday morning.